And here we go, just like that. We are live. Monday Night Football, our little version. And here we go. Big welcome to everyone that joined us last week and here this week. The agenda, what an agenda we have. It has been an amazing week. We've got Harry Kane. Should he stay or should he go now? What are Tottenham doing? What's their long-term plan with the next manager? We've got promotion and relegation. Are we on the brink of history? And we've got our English team's going to dominate Europe again. That is on the agenda. Danny, I'll start with you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks, Tom. Cheers for having us again on the VTF podcast. Great to be here.
No worries. And we've got an internet connection. We've not got a Danny like last week. He's here, ready to go. And boys, I'm loving the football tops. Louis, how are you?
I'm good. It's been a good week for Chelsea. So, yeah.
Very good for Chelsea. We'll get on that later. Tell us, what's that top you got on? People might not know. What football top is that?
It's Chelsea, I think it's like 97 shirt.
97.
With Zola on the back.
Oh, bit of class. Premier League Hall of Famer, maybe?
Oh, well, yeah. I don't know what's going to go on with that. Where do they cut that?
Weird timing again, isn't it? They've just inducted Henry and Alan Shearer. But boys, let's get straight into it. Obviously, we can talk about your clubs later, but the first thing that we saw this week, well, the big talking point is Tottenham. They sacked Jose Mourinho with 5 days before a cup final. They've got Harry Kane rumoured to be leaving. So let's start with Harry Kane. What should he do? Let's start with you, Louis. Should he stay or should he go?
It's a hard question. I think it depends on what exactly he wants. Because if he wants to win trophies, I think he needs to leave as soon as possible, because let's be honest, I think Spurs have peaked the past 3 or 4 years, and I don't think he's going to have a chance of winning anything big. Maybe a cup, but I think he needs to leave, to be honest. If you look at, I think Kyle Walker left at like 27. That's from Spurs to Man City, and I think he's going to win his 10th trophy now. I think if he wants to be remembered as a great, then I think he needs to leave, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's the worry, isn't it? And Danny, what do you think? Stay or go?
Yeah, like what Todd said, it depends what he wants. I feel like I've always seen Kane as a sort of personal record orientated. I think he said himself that he's after the sort of Alan Shearer's 260 Premier League goals record. It just always reminds you of that one where he tried to claim off Eriksen, that he swore on his daughter's life that he touched his shoulder or something. But at the same time, he is a player that deserves trophies, and it would be a tragic career if he goes through it with not winning anything.
I know, that's the worry. People that know me know that Harry Kane, I love Harry Kane, my favourite player. I actually love Harry Kane. I'm not even a striker. And I've put that he's 28 in July. And it goes under the radar, this. He's the top Premier League goal scorer this season with 21 and the top assist with 13. That's 34 in total. For a Tottenham Hotspur team, that are pretty poor, aren't they? Let's be honest.
And he's injured.
Yeah, and he's played under Jose Mourinho. He's got 34 goal contributions there. He's got 164 Premier League goals in total, and he's 97 to break Alan Shearer's record. I've currently valued him at 120 mil. Some might say that's kind, some might say that's not. If he was like, look, I need to go. You're seeing Phil Foden win 4 League Cups in a row. It's not big trophies, Premier Leagues. If he was to say, right, I'm going, where does he go, Louis?
I think he's got to go Man City, to be honest. I think that's a guaranteed trophies, guaranteed goals. And I think the way he plays now, where he kind of drops deep quite a lot, I think it probably suits City a lot as well. He can combine in there, link up play and everything. I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. I don't see why he would, if he's going to leave Spurs, he wants to guarantee trophies. And if he goes to United, let's be honest, they haven't won. I can't see them winning anything big under Solskjaer. I think if he wants to just guarantee those trophies and beat the record, then Man City is pretty much a no-brainer, personally, with Aguero leaving as well.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good evaluation. Danny, would you agree with that, Man City?
Yeah, to an extent, like he's definitely staying in the Premier League. Like he's not I think if he was to go abroad, it would be to either Madrid or Barca. And the state that those two clubs are in, especially after the ESL fallout, I don't think he's going to want to go there. And again, just about the record, like, I think that is his prized possession, probably more important than his daughter's life. Some would say. But yeah, I think it's down to the two Manchester clubs. I think he's got some sort of morality around him that he won't go to like a rival London club. Like we're not going to see him at Chelsea or Arsenal, without a doubt. Although he did start at Arsenal in his early days. So when Spurs are thinking he's one of our own, but yeah, it's one of the two Manchester clubs, and I think it's pretty much down to City. Like if they go for him, he's there. But if they go for Haaland and get him, it's like who's your priority, the youth or or Kane? Yeah.
Yes, but what's interesting for me at Man City is when you look at the rumours, they're not rumoured with him. They're rumoured with Haaland, like you said, Lukaku. I saw Silva, who's having a really good season at Frankfurt. They're not really linked with him at all, which I find strange. Always that like keep it quiet, don't say anything. But Danny, I want to ask you a question. You've got your Liverpool top on. Will you not be perfect in the Klopp? Surely, Harry Kane, Mo Salah, Arne.
Yeah, he would fit in there. It's like I think for the last few weeks, at least, we've just been playing with a false nine, and what we need is a nine. He would slot in there, but I just don't like. He's just not a Liverpool signing in that the amount of money that would require to sign him, and how old he is now. And you'd need to adapt to the Klopp method. Like I don't think we'd go for him. It doesn't seem like a Klopp or Michael Edwards signing, really.
No,
I think I would take him if the.
Of course, I think any club in the world would take you. And the one thing I'd say about Kane is, I don't know what his links like to England players, but he doesn't strike me as a guy that's motivated by money. He strikes me as a guy that wants to win trophies. And if he believes in Klopp's vision and Klopp gives him that little hug and they've had a conversation before, he would fit into that Liverpool team, a dream, wouldn't he? If you got top four and if Man City, because if Man City don't want him, what would you? Okay, Lou, I'll go to you as a neutral. Would you choose Liverpool or would you choose Manchester United?
If Man City don't want him,
if Man City say we don't win, we're playing pressing, we don't fancy him, where would you go?
I'd go Liverpool for sure, but again, I can't ever see that happening. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem. No, I don't think Liverpool have the money for it. If they don't get Champions League, there's no chance of him going there, and there's no chance of him going Chelsea, unfortunately. I think Daniel Levy, they wouldn't sell us Serge Aurier if we bid 60 million for him. I don't think.
I don't know. They might go for that one, but yeah, no, that's a good point. I think unfortunately for you, I can't imagine he goes to Chelsea. So
that's exactly what we need. To be fair, as well.
That's what every club needs at the moment, and there's three of them: that Lukaku, Kane, Haaland. I think they're the three that everyone's thinking, who do we fancy? And who can afford Haaland? It only looks like Man City, right? Can anyone else really afford them, really, in this current climate?
I think maybe.
Yeah, maybe Bayern Munich. They have to wait a year, apparently, is the rumour, because Lewandowski. Is Haaland really going to sit out a year? No Champions League football as it stands?
Yeah. As it stands, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a waste of these days also. I think it's a waste of these days in the Bundesliga. There's no point.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's a one-team league now, like done and dusted. Like there's no coming back from. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And just to flip it on its other side, so it's like who wants to take Kane, and it's like still like Levy is notorious for being like a hard negotiator. I think I was reading that when it came to selling Berbatov to United, Alex Ferguson described negotiations as more painful than his hip replacement. Like he's a proper businessman and like goes for it. And it shows like with Berbatov, who else? Modric and Bale. Like it was all three of them like proper hard sales as well.
And I remember the Lyon chairman was talking about when they were buying Ndombele, and he was saying he was just basically hated him, said he would never deal with him again.
Yeah. So, you don't blame him. I mean, he notoriously, he's not great, is he? And I suppose that's a huge thing. If Levy says, look, I'm not selling to a rival, would Harry Kane really hand a transfer request in? Is he the sort of guy that would say, I need out? Because in a second, we're going to talk about who's going to replace Jose Mourinho. Ryan Mason yesterday said they're 4 or 5 years behind Man City. Harry Kane's 28 in July. That would mean he's 33 when they're on a par, apparently. So what's going to happen there? Would he really hand a transfer request in? There's a lot of ifs and buts, isn't there? I think it's a tough one.
It would be a big heartbreaker to the Spurs fans, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I remember when Coutinho handed in a transfer request and like heads went down a bit from there. But Harry Kane, one of your own, handing a transfer request to go to one of the rivals, most probably. I think that would be a hard one to come back for Spurs.
Yeah. I like speaking to Spurs mates though, they like I don't think they wouldn't like begrudge him leaving at all. It was just they like if they want to see him do well, they almost kind of like, he needs to leave. But again, they were saying like if he wins one trophy at Spurs, would that mean more than as like 5 trophies at Man City? But I can't really see them winning a trophy, to be honest.
Oh, no way. No. How can they win a trophy? I know they got to a League Cup final. Let's take the League Cup away. How could they win a trophy? I don't personally.
Well, if he wants to, he's not going to win the Premier League or Champions League at Spurs.
No. And Europa League is too hard. I think the away days are just too tough. That defence. No, I think it's wrong. That's our good. That leads us on perfectly to our next question. So let's move on then. So Tottenham, next manager. And you look at this, and we go along for people. So Sarri, the ex-Chelsea boss, Louis, you know him well, 2-1. Nuno at Wolves doing a good job, having a really bad spell at the moment, 4-1. We've got Scott Parker, looks like they're going to get relegated. We'll talk about that later, 8-1. Ryan Mason, 10-1, no experience. Graham Potter, the best manager in the world. Not joking. 10-1 as a Brighton fan. You couldn't begrudge him. I don't think he's done enough to really deserve the Tottenham boss job quite yet. Benitez was an interesting one at 12-1, and Brendan Rodgers at 14-1. Now you look at that list, and that was yesterday morning. This morning. You look at that list, and it doesn't inspire me with a lot of confidence. I'll start with you, Louis. Out of that list, or someone else, who's going to be the Tottenham manager next season?
Well, I think Benitez there is quite a good, as far as a betting man. 12-1.
Would you want him at your club?
I think he would do a good job with Spurs. You said that about Mourinho, making them hard to beat, but I think he's got, I don't know. I think Benitez would do quite well. Just he knows the Premier League well. Someone like, Ryan Mason is definitely not getting it. Parker, is he really? If Spurs got Parker, is that going to convince Kane to stay? I think there's no chance. I think that's probably quite important to this. I don't think Sarri would fit that well at Spurs either. I think Benitez would be quite a good job, and Rodgers if they could get him, but I don't see why he would leave Leicester for Spurs at the moment, especially if they get top 4.
Yeah, I think that's a good evaluation. Danny, what do you think? Agree with that, or do you think there's anyone you could see there maybe taking over?
I'm not sure. I think it's like all down to Daniel Levy. So Daniel Levy's been at Spurs since 2001, is it? So I think he's the longest current serving chief exec / chairman at a Premier League club. And he's like quite notorious for like being difficult to get along with from a manager's perspective. Like he's gone through them quickly over the past 20 years. And I think the likes of Rodgers and Benitez, who have both clashed with the upper ups in the past, means that they probably wouldn't be a good fit. I think that's what happened with Mourinho as well. Like they didn't get along well. I think he's very hands-on, Levy. Like wants things done his way. He's a Tottenham fan, so he's obviously passionate about it. But I'm just a bit concerned that he sees it as like his little toy or project or whatever you have. Won't be Mason. Can see Parker getting there but he just hasn't got the experience. But at the same time, it'd be very much like, all right, Scott, you're the coach, and you're just gonna have to work with what I give you. And I feel like a relationship could come from that. I'm not entirely sure. It's a hard one to call, really, because I think he's just a difficult person to work with.
Yeah. It's there's not that many managers around, to be honest. I mean, when we sacked Lampard, Tuchel kind of fit perfectly because he'd just been sacked as well. But really, I don't know what Daniel Levy was ever thinking sacking Pochettino. It's got to be one of the stupidest decisions you could do.
Yeah, he took a massive gamble and it's blown up in his face, basically.
Spectacularly. Yeah.
He thought the team was much better than it was. I got some names for you boys that maybe could fit the bill, and you can tell me I'm wrong or right. Eddie Howe, do we think he's off to Celtic? Not good enough. A lot better. Parker, is he better than Potter though? More experienced. Okay, Steven Gerrard. If the Liverpool job didn't come out, would he take the Tottenham job? If you said to Steven Gerrard now, there's the Spurs job. These are very much outsiders. Gerrard.
No, I don't think he'd do it. I think he's looking to like build a reputation and a program at Rangers. Like he's won one league there. I think he's looking to build on that.
There's no rush.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. It's such a bit like if you're a manager, it is such a big risk now to go for that Spurs job because like you need to succeed there. Like there's a lot of pressure on you. So I imagine a lot of them are just like wiping their hands of it. It's like, nah, it's not for me. This like I'll bow out.
Yeah, I got two more names for you. International managers, Gareth Southgate or Roberto Martinez. They're the only ones I can see an outside shot. If one of the teams don't do well, international teams, I'm guessing they wait for the summer. If a Belgium or England, hope not England, don't have the best Euros, maybe, I don't know. But
Martinez, yeah, I thought you said Mancini.
No, Martinez, yeah, Belgium. I suppose his time could be coming to an end at Belgium. I think Martinez fit actually. Quite attacking football, quite pleased on the eye, not defensive.
Yeah. We said it before. It kind of depends if Levy wants to kind of go cheap and see what he can get. If he will go for like Parker, or if he wants kind of more like kind of not guaranteed, but just results and to try and get into the top four. I don't know. Is what's his name? Allegri linked at all?
But I'm not being horrible to Tottenham, and I hope there's no Tottenham fans watching this, but he's going to get a big job, isn't he? He's waiting for a big job. I mean, if he was, I can't. You were right. I think Danny mentioned it. This is an awful job to walk into. This is a young manager that's like going to prove himself, or it's going to take a really steady head that's going to go right. Because you're going to lose Gareth Bale. He's going to go back playing golf in Madrid, which he wants to do. Let's be honest. You're going to lose Harry Kane potentially. You've got a defence that needs probably a whole new back five, and this is a huge job, and it's one that it comes with a lot of risk. So I don't know if a lot of people would take this on.
Yeah, but they'll guaranteed a decent wage, so it's a bit like the Chelsea job used to be. People said, "Oh, no one wants to take it because you'll just get sacked," but you get paid off well, and your reputation doesn't really get damaged because everyone gets sacked at Chelsea, so you just move on to another job. Yeah,
but Levy, I mean, he did pay Jose Mourinho extremely high wage against his his mob normally, but is he going to do that again? I don't know. He might have learned his lesson. What was the payout? £30 million?
30 million. I'm not sure if that was just for him or it included his backroom staff, but I don't think it did.
He's not really.
I think he's relying on the ESL money, and he's just shutting himself in the foot there.
Massively. I think you're right. I think that's
we need to quickly make a point about how stupid it was really to sack him before the final. I think if you're going to sack him anyway, which they probably were, just let him have one. If you're going to trust someone to beat Guardiola in a final, if it's one game, you'd rather have Mourinho against him than
do you know the fact? Would you know the trivia?
He's the only manager to beat Guardiola in a final or something.
Yeah, he's the only manager to beat Guardiola in a domestic final. There you go. And it's
and my word, Spurs were awful yesterday.
They were lucky that was 1-0.
Yeah, so lucky. Oh, that's what they need to do. They need to get Hugo Lloris, get him a new contract. You can't let him leave. He kept them in the game. That would be massive to lose. The manager, Harry Kane, the top goal scorer and top assist in the team and the Premier League, and then to lose your captain as well. It would be an absolute nightmare for them.
I've always kind of taken the piss out of Lloris a bit, but he is a good goalkeeper, and he's been having a good season.
He had a good game yesterday.
And
I'm not sure. You look at his errors. He makes a lot of errors leading to goal.
He does.
You say that yesterday is Spurs' biggest game of the season.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
He's their man of the match.
Yeah, definitely. You're right. Well, the rest didn't really do much. Harry Kane didn't have a shot. I didn't see Son the whole game. They didn't bring Dobley on, which I thought was a bit strange.
Yeah, I know. My mate was having a go at him.
I really understand you're losing 1-0 and you don't bring on your most attacking midfielder. But then Ryan makes
which was
strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. But we will find out very soon what Tottenham are going to do in the summer. And good luck to them. That is going to be a tough job. And Daniel Levy doesn't like to put his hand in his pocket. You both made good points there. No Super League, losing big players, and not just players, characters. It's this Super League. They might be out of Europe for a couple of seasons. Looking at that squad. Next season, if Kane leaves, obviously, and they have a Scott Parker around Mason. Right, we're going to move on. So we're going to talk about promotion and relegation. Let's do promotion first. Let's go to the Championship. Here, the Championship's hotting up. Now, Danny, I asked you a question yesterday, and you got it right. I asked, are we on the brink of history? And you said, yeah, we might be. What is the brink of history? What could happen for the first time ever in the Championship?
So for the first time since the Premier League came to be in 1992, we could have the 3 teams that were relegated from last season to spend just the 1 season in the Championship and all go back up again. So Norwich and Watford have secured their promotion. And if Bournemouth win the playoffs, that'll be all 3 relegated sides going straight back up again. Yeah. And that would be the first time in Premier League history that has occurred.
Wow. I think they say it's only 5 times that 2 of them have gone straight back up. So it is
really, yeah. So we're guaranteed for that to be the 6th time now. Yeah, could be a history-making season.
And no one wants that, really. No one wants Bournemouth back up. Really.
Who do you want?
Like Liverpool won the league when it was these 20 teams, so it might work in our favour.
Well, who do we want then? We've got Brentford, who have a game in hand on 78. We have Bournemouth on 77, Swansea and Barnsley on 77. They can't be caught. This is the playoffs now. So there are 2 games to go, apart from Brentford have a game in hand. So Brentford have 3 games left. Who would you want, Danny? Who do you want you want Bournemouth, obviously, for Liverpool, which makes sense.
I don't want Bournemouth, actually, because we've got Southampton and Brighton already, and that is enough for the South Coast in terms of Premier League football teams. I would love the fairy tale story of Barnsley. I'm not sure if you're aware, but they spent the majority of last season in the relegation zone and just managed to escape it in the end. So for them to come up this season would be fantastic, and it's another northern side, which is never a bad thing. Second favourite would be Swansea, because I think they play nice football. Don't mind them. Don't want Brentford or Bournemouth.
You just don't want Brentford or Bournemouth. That's interesting. Louis, who do you want?
I wouldn't mind Brentford, like just a new London team, another West London derby. But
that's exactly why I don't want Brentford
in. New stadium and everything, but I quite like Swansea. I don't know what, I like them when they were in the league before, and they've got one of our players on loan there, Guehi. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but the centre back, and he's on a 2-year loan there, and he's been really good apparently. And if they come up, then he would stay there to, I don't know, just some more experience in the Premier League. And I think their manager's the manager who won the Under-17 World Cup with England. So they've got a lot of young English players. And don't mind Swansea coming back up. Bournemouth, absolutely not. Barnsley would be quite cool, but then I think it'd just be a bit like Huddersfield, where they just completely out their depth.
Hey, Huddersfield stayed up for a season.
One of the worst teams ever to stay up. I don't know how they stayed up.
Well, we got promoted with them. Us Newcastle, they did very well. And that was a stat for you. The first time ever in Premier League history, Huddersfield, Brighton, Newcastle, 3 promoted teams stayed up. That's a little bit of history for you. Now, so we're looking at the promotion there. I will give you a bit of stats here. Goals scored: Brentford 73, Bournemouth 73, Barnsley and Swansea, 54, 56 respectively. Now, if we go by the fixtures, Brentford have a game in hand. They've got a very nice game. They've got 2 home games. So I was assuming they come third. Brentford come fourth. Sorry, Bournemouth come fourth. So do we think the mighty Barnsley and Swansea, can they do it over 2 legs? Do you think they can cause an upset?
Yeah, I think like it's the playoffs, isn't it? Anything can happen, sort of thing. It's quite rare, I think, that a team that finishes 6th ends up winning promotion. I think it's only happened once in the last 10 years, which is even more reason to support Barnsley in the quest for Premier League promotion. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
I think it's tough, isn't it? Well, I don't know if you know this, but the top goal scorer, Ivan Toney, which I really want Brighton to sign, has scored 29 goals this season. No one else is near him. And their next top goal scorer is 8. But Bournemouth are a joke. They have loads of goal scorers chipping in. So it's going to be tough. I think if one team can beat Bournemouth, it could be Swansea over 2 legs. But of course, it's the Championship. They're all separated by 1 point. You might get Barnsley. They might finish 3rd. And they might get the home advantage. So we've all gone for then. So Louis, you're saying Swansea, and Danny is hoping for. You're for a bit of a. No, Danny, who do you want? You change your mind.
I'd go Barnsley, really. I think, yeah.
Barnsley. Okay, perfect. Louis is trying to get on the stream there. Okay,
Yeah.
we're moving back. Right, we're moving away from there then. So that's what we're saying. That's obviously got a lot of running. If Bournemouth do get promoted, we're going to see a bit of history as well, which would be great. Now we're going to talk about relegation quickly and go over it, which is actually making me so nervous as a Brighton fan. So the relegation battle, we have Sheffield United are done. They were relegated, yet somehow beat Brighton 1-0 at home. Even they got relegated. And do you know the worst thing was about it? They were fighting for their lives. I thought Brighton were going to turn up and roll them 5-0. They were like time wasting. They wanted that. And I was like, where did this come from? We've got West Brom 25, last minute goal versus Aston Villa. We've got Fulham 27, last minute goal by Arsenal, Matt Ryan flick on. Then we got Brighton 34, Newcastle 36, Southampton. How are Southampton on 36 points? They've had 1 win about 20 games. They do have a game in hand though. And we have Burnley on 36, who just won 4-0 at Wolves. So what do we reckon? Obviously, Sheffield United down. I'll start with you, Louis. Who's joining Sheffield United in the Championship next season?
West Brom and Fulham.
You're just going straight to it. West Brom and Fulham, right? No dramas for me. It's going to be simple. They're the 2 going down, yeah?
Yeah. If West Brom got that goal, didn't concede in the last minute, and what awful goal to concede as well.
Shocking. Awful.
I don't know what the guy is not just clearing it for.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing there.
Trying to chest it down to the keeper.
The 95th minute. Or whatever. No, 93rd.
Yeah. They could have had a chance. They've been on a bit of a roll. Fulham, I thought, like 10 games ago, that they were definitely going to stay up, but they kept on playing well and not winning. And then I think they've just kind of got to the stage where they're not playing as well anymore. And
yeah,
I think it's just too late for them.
Yeah, you don't scare me and say that, because it's only 7 points. And I looked at Fulham's fixtures. They've got Chelsea away, Burnley at home. That's the one, isn't it? Burnley at home in the next one. Southampton, who've got 1 win in about 20. Man United, who probably won't be playing for anything. Newcastle at home. They're not bad 5 fixtures. Chelsea away, after Champions League. You'd assume them to lose that. The 4 games, there's 9 points there. There's not. It's a tough ask. But you never know. Danny, what do you reckon?
I think this is going to be a deflated relegation battle. I think the majority of the teams involved will lose the remaining of their games. Like West Brom have got a difficult run in. You just went through Fulham's fixtures then. That's a difficult run in. I think Brighton have a couple of easy games. But I think have you got Arsenal still?
Got Arsenal away last game of the season.
See, that's a win for you, I think.
Not a win for us. We've got Leeds at home, Wolves away, West Ham, Man City at home. We're only playing top half teams now. Arsenal. However, we do perform better against teams in the top half. We can't.
Exactly. But if only you were playing Liverpool, we love giving points to the teams in the relegation battle.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Same with us as well.
Yeah, I think that's it now. I think the league will stay in the bottom half. It'll stay as it is. So Sheffield bottom, West Brom, then Fulham. No, go down.
Lovely. Well, I hope you're both right there, because if next week Fulham beat Chelsea away and we lose to Leeds, we're back on this podcast and I'll be like, what's going on? And I do not like Fulham Newcastle last game of the season. I just do not like we're going to Arsenal and Brighton. We've done this before. We will. I don't like it until we win that next game. I don't like it one bit. Southampton 36, 1 win in 20. Are we assuming 36 is probably enough points already?
I think that's probably it. Yeah, I can't see Fulham getting, not more than 9 points.
They've got a better goal difference. Got a much better goal difference than Southampton. Southampton will probably get a win. They've got to play Southampton as well. We say Southampton are probably going to be okay. Just
been a bit disappointed really. I thought they were going to be good this season, and I thought Hassan might be a good fit for Spurs, but his stock's kind of fallen massively in the last year. Can't really be losing 9-0 twice.
Yeah. The saying goes that it's normally like 40 points just safe, and I think we'll see like quite a few teams like not reach 40 points this year. Like Burnley will get there, I think. Not sure about Southampton still. They could like draw 2 games, then lose the other 3 or 4. And not make it. Same with Newcastle, same with Brighton. Yeah, it's just not very good teams, but like scrapping for it really.
Yeah, no home advantage either. You got no crowd to pick you up, get you going. I think that's sometimes really hard, isn't it? Those teams at the bottom, and it can work away from home, or teams get more points away from home. But sometimes you just need that crowd, don't you? That 12th man to get behind you and get that result. And that's not been happening. And also we've had again Fulham. They drew last minute. Matt Ryan flick on. West Brom aren't giving it up. So we'll stick with that. I'm going to agree with you, and hopefully that will be that. Right, last one then. This is the big one. Are we going to see English teams dominate in the Champions League and Europa League again? So a couple of years ago, we had Arsenal-Chelsea Europa League final, and we had Liverpool-Tottenham Champions League final. Danny, you were at Madrid for that one. You for the Champions League final?
Yeah, it was good crack. Good day out, wasn't it? Oh, it was so hot. It was unbearable in the afternoon, actually.
I went to the atmosphere and it was horrible. It was actually, I saw Liverpool fans tops off and like, you're not going to make the game. It was was it a 9 p.m. kickoff? It was late, wasn't it? You probably can't.
9 p.m. Spanish time. Yeah, and then I think 8 p.m. UK time.
Yeah, and then obviously, Louis, you went to Baku, right? You just got the shot.
I went to look into it, but I wouldn't actually have been allowed because I'm Armenian. I would have been like Mkhitaryan wasn't allowed to play, was he? I would have been shoved off the plane or whatever. Wouldn't have been allowed to play.
Yeah.
The hardest use of this podcast now into politics.
Now we're going to get into politics. Remind me of the game. You won 4-0, right?
4-1.
They scored.
We went 3-0 up. And they scored a pretty good goal. I think Iwobi scored, and then we scored straight away after that. So, it was an enjoyable one.
You are both very happy. That's so good to see that Chelsea and Liverpool fan. This year, are we going to see Chelsea versus Man City and Manchester United versus Arsenal? We'll start Champions League. Start that first. So, Man City, PSG. Both Man City and Chelsea are away and then home. Is that an advantage with no fans? I don't know. I can let you both decide that. Danny, I'll start with you. Let's go for Man City, PSG. Who are you backing?
PSG, I think they're because City like to play at the high line, and I think Mbappe and Neymar will run ragged with that. Like they'll actually go rioting with that sort of thing. And I'm not because City always like to play on the front foot. I think this is the first proper opposition they'll come up against. Bear in mind that they played Dortmund, fair enough, but then Borussia Mönchengladbach. This is the first proper elite opposition they're coming up against. I think they'll be a bit shocked about it. And then PSG the same way. They played Barca in the last 16 and Bayern in the quarters. They're having scalps for fun at the moment.
Yeah. That is true. That's good analysis. Lou, what do you think?
it's difficult. Seeing the way Neymar and Mbappe played against Bayern Munich, I think they seem to just being like attacking the whole of Bayern's team just by themselves, just doing 1-2s like it was FIFA. And I think they could do the same thing to Man City. I think that, yeah, I don't know, it's really too close to call. I think I'd rather PSG beat City, to be honest. If we got to the final, I wouldn't want to play City, even though we just beat them. Couldn't take that.
It'd be a tough one. I think the thing with Man City, and we've said it all season, that with no number 9, obviously they're not playing Aguero Jesus. It does make a huge difference in the Champions League. You don't get as many chances. But I have seen PSG against Bayern Munich. They give you a lot of chances. They really do. They're like, okay, we attack. They don't keep a lot of clean sheets. They lost to Barcelona at home. They lost to Bayern Munich at home. They lost to Manchester United at home. So in big games at home, they're not great. Now, away from home, when you don't have the ball as much, they are devastating on the counter-attack. But Man City do have a very, very good defence. So it's going to be one of those. It's going to be a lottery, isn't it? It's going to be, can Man City really take their chances about a number 9? And Mbappe, is he good to go? He got subbed off his last game, so there is a rumour he might not make it.
Yeah, it was a little. I think it was like a dead leg, wasn't it? But granted, he scored 2 goals, and I think it was literally right at the end of the game. They were 3-1 up. It's like, let's not take any risks. Let's get him off. And he walked off the pitch, seeming fine. So yeah, I think it'd be good to go. And cause a riot.
I think it's a bit to do depending on Guardiola, because the last few years, every big game in the Champions League, he seems to have just lost his head, really. Like against Lyon last year, playing 5 at the back when there's no need to. I think he could have like a brain fart again.
Yeah.
And I think, well, I'm not sure exactly, I didn't look at it, but I think Pochettino had a fairly decent record against Guardiola at Spurs. I know they beat him in the Champions League before.
I think it's 110 lost 3, but obviously that means nothing when the biggest game they've had against each other is the Champions League quarters.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an absolute blockbuster. I'm looking forward to that actually, because it's gonna be an absolute chess match. I think Man City will just play it slowly, and obviously the PSG. You're so right. Like, if Neymar, his shooting boots were not there against Bayern Munich, but if he turns up and Mbappe, it's going to be a good one for the neutral. Then we've got Chelsea and Real Madrid. That is a huge one. And again, it's at it's not the Bernabeu, is it? It's at Real Madrid's training ground. And then it's at Stamford Bridge.
European night, isn't it?
Yeah. I know. I'll start with you. I'll go Louis first. As the Chelsea fan, what do you think? You're at Real Madrid third. Do you think you're going to win the Champions League final?
I'm bizarrely quite confident about it when I'm never usually am. I don't know. I think for the we're perfectly set up for the Champions League. We don't really look like conceding in most games. I know the West Brom game was a bit of a freak match.
Yeah.
But I think they're missing a few players as well. I think if we just keep it tight, I don't think there's going to be many goals in it. I could see tomorrow being 0-0 for sure. I think it's just going to be who takes their chance or who makes a mistake. But I don't think there's going to be much in it either. I know they've got the experience and stuff, but I don't know a difficult one. But I think we'll sneak through.
Do you think you're getting a away goal?
I think it's going to be 0-0 tomorrow.
Because the thing I think with Chelsea is when you play 3-5-2, and I've watched a lot of Chelsea season, Brighton the same. We play 3-5-2. That doesn't create a lot of clear-cut opportunities. It really doesn't. It's very negative. And if it's 0-0, that's a tough one to defend. The way at Stamford Bridge, they get 1, you need 2. That's a nervy scoreline. Are you not going to go there and try and get a goal, or would you take 0-0?
No, I don't think I would take 0-0.
But yeah, okay, that's the question. Danny, what do you reckon? You've obviously just played Real Madrid. Liverpool played them.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, buddy. I know. So do you think they've got the tools to beat Chelsea?
Oh, yeah. It's just sort of like in the way that PSG versus Man City will be a game of who can take their chances. I feel like Real Madrid versus Chelsea will be a game of who can take the chance. Like there won't be much in it, really. I think Madrid they're coming off like 2 0-0s. I think they drew against Real Betis at the weekend, but still, like dominated the game in terms of shots, possession, etc. Yeah, I'm with Lou. I feel like I can see 0-0 really, unless there's a goal in the first half. If it's 0-0 at half time, it would be 0-0. I think that's what it is. I think that's what I was hoping for in the second leg against them, because that finished 0-0. It's like we just needed a goal for that game to come alive, and that's the case for Real Madrid Chelsea. One goal and the whole tie becomes alive, and everyone just has to go at it then.
Yeah, we need that. If you look at those midfield battles, they are very good midfielders. Kroos, Modric, Casemiro against probably Kante. I don't know who he'll play actually. Lou, you know better than me. Who would he play the three in midfield? They go Kante, Mount, and probably Kovacic.
He's injured, so it's going to be Jorginho.
Oh, okay, but still, keep the ball. Very, very can be slow and progressive. I can only see Mount there really running at people. It does
technically plays in the front three, but he kind of moves around everywhere in midfield. So, yeah, and Kante, he's been back to his best recently when he's been fit. So, yeah, it's their midfield really. It's that they've won 3 Champions Leagues together, I think. I don't think Casemiro won the first one.
No, he didn't.
They know how each other play, and yeah, it's going to be difficult. But I think we've got enough to beat them for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that early goal then, because we've not sold that game. Many of you be watching this going, they said it'd be 0-0, and if the answer is no shots on target, no shots, it looks like an absolute ball fest. But okay, that's good.
Here's first.
Yeah, we need an early goal. Early goal, we celebrate, we go. So we're looking like, we're sort of saying PSG, Man City, absolute lottery. And I actually pretty agree with Louis. I think Chelsea might steal it. If it's 0-0 the first leg, though, I'd back Real Madrid then to get an away goal. But it's not going to set the world alight, is it really? But okay, and we'll move on. Europa League. Arsenal against Villarreal. Now they are again away from home first against Emery, who's got a fantastic record Europa League. Manchester United, the only English team to play the home leg first against Roma. We'll start with, let's go Arsenal. Really tough opponent, this one, I think, Villarreal. A lot of people writing them off, thinking Arsenal will get to a final. Could be tricky. They've got a lot of good young players. I'll start with you, Louis. Who do you think will progress?
Well, I would love Arsenal to lose, but I actually think Villarreal might go through. I also have been, turning it on for the Europa League, but it's not hard. Every English team who plays in the Europa League should be going to the semi-final if they're not playing each other most of the time. I think. It's not an achievement. And that's how bad. I think who have Arsenal played? Benfica, who are 4th, 3rd in the Portuguese league. Yeah. Olympiacos, Slavia Prague, was it? Yeah, they're teams who are your 4th team in the Champions League group stage most of the time.
Yeah.
But I think Villarreal, they've been pretty decent this season, and I think Emery has something to prove. It'll be an interesting game, I think. Yeah, I'll go for Villarreal to go through.
Villarreal, love it. Danny, I'm actually going to go Villarreal as well. Villarreal. Clean sweep, or are you going to back Arsenal?
I'll back Villarreal. Obviously, just they're close to us here, aren't they? And I don't want Arsenal to do anything either. It'd just be funny for them to just have a nothing season. But having said that, I went to the second leg of the semi-final of Arsenal Valencia back when they made a couple of years ago when they made the Europa League final, and they were on fire that night. Lacazette scored a hat trick. I think it literally depends what Arsenal side shows up. That's a tie that could I can see going to extra time after 2-1 all draws sort of thing, maybe even to penalties, or Arsenal could run away with it, sort of a 5-2, 5-1 aggregate score, I think.
Yeah. So, well, look at Arsenal last round. Slavia Prague, they beat Rangers, they beat Leicester. They get a last-minute goal at Arsenal, 1-1. I'm thinking that's done. I'm thinking Arsenal, they've got no character. They're going to sprint into a 3-0 lead out of nowhere. And it's well, sorry, where's this Arsenal in the Premier League then? Because I definitely don't see it week in, week out. I would hate to be. It's a social experiment, it must be. Because it must be so, you never know what's going to turn up. You watch Fulham at home.
It's impossible to predict there. I don't.
How can you, but we're sitting now going, let's be honest, Arsenal, maybe their players need that. They need that motivation. The Sakas, the Smith Rowes, the Lacazettes, the Aubameyang will come back from malaria. Maybe that's what they need is that big night for motivate. Maybe they don't have much motivation, and maybe that's Arteta's fault. Is he good enough to motivate his players? He doesn't seem like the sort of guy that's going to be screaming and shouting. They've never had that with Arsene Wenger, maybe Emery, so maybe that's what they need. But it's they are a funny club, and Louis, you picked the right one. Chelsea, not Arsenal. A stressful. Okay, next one. Manchester United, Roma. United are at home first. Tough, little tricky one this, because everyone again is thinking Man United will get to the final. Let's just remind ourselves, last season Manchester United lost to Sevilla at this stage and didn't really perform. Bruno Fernandes hasn't scored an open play goal in 15 games. The goals definitely are drying up now. I don't think Solskjaer really knows his best team either. Is it Cavani? Is it Greenwood up front? So, Danny, I'll start with you this time. As a Liverpool fan, I'm sure I know what you're hoping for. But are Man United going to beat Roma? Not only beat them at home and not concede, then go to Rome? What do you fancy?
So tough. I'm really looking forward to that fixture. I think that's after PSG Man City. This is the second game second tie I'm really looking forward to, I think. You say like Solskjaer doesn't really know his best team, his best attacking force. Can work in his favour. Like, how on earth do you prepare to defend against them or go up against them? Like the Roman defenders will be like, they'll be watching plenty of videos on like numerous players in preparation for it. But I would just love it. Chris Smalling, big header up against Maguire. Bosh.
Can you imagine the scenes, the turmoil? Yeah. He's celebrating Roma.
Of course. I'm back in Roma. Yeah.
I mean, we do have to remember that Manchester United did go to AC Milan, and who obviously are second in the league and get a 1-0 away win after drawing the first leg 1-1. They went to San Siro. Zlatan was back. However, this is a semi-final, and Manchester United aren't good at semi-finals under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. They do not win semi-finals that people keep forgetting. Louis, what do you think?
I think Man United have pretty much cruised through all of their the AC Milan one aside, but they still kind of got through fairly easily. I think they're a bit too good for the Europa League, and they had a hard group in the Champions League, and I think it's showing now that they've breezed through. But Roma, they're a big European team. They've kind of sacked off the league now. I think they can't get top four. It's a big game, man. I think United will do it. To be honest, I think they might get a 1-0 win at Old Trafford, and then I think that'll be enough to see them through.
That's the thing, isn't it? That's what you know now. That can they get a clean sheet at Old Trafford? Because we know how these ties work. And they've conceded goals at home. AC Milan was a last-minute one. They didn't beat Sociedad at home. And they've not won a European home game. I think there's quite a few at the whole knockout stages. So it's one of those, isn't it? If they concede an away goal, you've then got to go to a big European stage on a big night and perform. And you look at that team, and who's going to deliver sometimes to Man United? I look at Rashford and think, okay, if you don't beat someone, who's he looking at? Where's his inspiration? Because it's not Martial with 4 Premier League goals and he's now injured. Cavani wants to leave. Sort of seems like they're going through a little bit of a transition now. A little bit, they're slowing down. It's a big ask. I
think Bruno's, as you said, he's burnt out at the moment. He was playing so many games for United when he didn't need to. I think he played when they won 4-0. They already beat Sociedad 4-0, and he played about 70 minutes of the return leg.
They put him captain.
There's no need. I think he's played too much over the last year, and he hasn't looked the same recently. So I think it's probably coming in a good time for Roma. But I think all 4 semi-finals in Europe, they're all going to be close ones. I think the first goal in the games is just so important. I think it changes it completely.
Go on, Danny, you got something to say?
I was just saying, like, as great as it would be to, like, how impressive it would be to have 4 English teams cover the European finals for 2 of the 3 years. And the two champions, Tottenham and Liverpool, the two Champions League teams, not to even be featuring in the semi-finals is very impressive. At the same time, there is the very real chance that all English sides could just be knocked out of the semi-finals, and that would be quite amazing, I think, wouldn't it?
I love that. You're not in it anymore. Like, you're not in it. You're all not in it. No one says that. I mean, you're so right on you. I mean, that there's such a huge. The Champions League is a coin toss for me, and you're right. There's a lot of big match winners, and you're so right. They're all good, juicy ties. You look on the paper, Arsenal have it the easiest, but I wouldn't say they do, because Arsenal are quite an average team. I think we'd all admit that they look really poor. So yeah, I think you're right. Imagine that if we're sitting here and they all lose the first leg. Like, what went wrong there? Likewise, do we want to see all the English teams be in the Europa League and Champions League? I don't know really. Does it just show that maybe, you look at the ESL and people say financial fair play is not fair. Look at the Premier League and the clubs make a lot more money than the rest. And again, because is that fair as well? But we don't want to talk about the Super League again, do we? We've let that behind us now. We're not in the Super League. It's gone. No more of that rubbish. I've heard that actually. Go on.
Having said that, how funny would it be for Real Madrid to win the Champions League? Perez having to be cozying up next to the UEFA president and all that stuff after he's been the spearhead of the ESL, and then his team goes to the UEFA competition.
There were so many. I was listening to the Tuchel press conference earlier, and some of the questions he was getting asked were awful. So there's lots of rumors that Real Madrid aren't. They're worried that UEFA are gonna come back to haunt them by bad refereeing decisions or something. And they asked Tuchel about this, and he's like, "Well, what's he gonna say? What is he meant to say there?" Obviously, he just has to say you trust the referees to do their job. So I think they're just putting pressure on him about that. And they also asked him, do you think the neutrals who would have been supporting Chelsea now are not gonna want them to win anymore? And Tuchel was like, well, so they're going to support Real Madrid instead, who are still in it and they're still spearheading it. So it's just stupid questions about the Super.
I think that's really interesting, your first point about officials, because the reason he thinks that, we're not all stupid. We know Real Madrid and Barcelona have had good refereeing decisions in the past. And we go back to the Drogba against Chelsea, they're cheating, they're this. It's been very well known that before VAR, you play those Spanish clubs and there are some awful refereeing decisions. I don't want to say it's corruption, but I'm going to say that there's definitely a little bit of power at the top. You look at Old Trafford for United, they used to get so many penalties, and they did, and they were never really, it was the name, wasn't it? And the reason he's sweating a little bit is probably thinking he knows what it's like, and he knows what influence you can have, and he knows in a big game tomorrow, a decision that might, VAR might not overturn it. Do the referees feel a bit of pressure? Are they told, what's been happening? Who knows? And I would love it.
I think even more so in the PSG Man City game, because you've got a team that didn't sign up for the ESL, PSG, who are very comfortable and very cozy with UEFA, and then Man City, who did sign up for it. Yeah. So that'll be very interesting to see which way these sort of half decisions go.
Oh, definitely UEFA. I mean, and that's what frustrates me. Before we finish off, is that UEFA again, though, their Champions League revamp is almost the same as the Super League. They've almost mirrored what's happening, really, without them doing that. The two places of the coefficient, more games, making it easier for big teams to qualify. Yes, there's integrity that you have relegation. Sorry, not relegation. You have teams don't qualify. But let's be honest here: the Champions League and the Super League aren't much different, are they? Really? The Champions League don't want to lose their product, which is obvious. But not good. But there we go, boys. And what we love about football is there's so much to talk about every week. This is a Monday night, and suddenly there's so much going on. Next Monday, we go again. And by Monday, we're going to know more about the top four race, more about relegation. We're also going to know more about the Champions League. Have Chelsea got a last-minute penalty against Real Madrid? How did Man City get sent to down to 9 men? We're going to know so much more next week. Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always. And
Cheers,
no worries. We'll see you next Monday, yeah?
Nice one, fella. Yeah.
No worries. Right, I'm going to end this broadcast. Stay on. And everyone on YouTube or wherever you're watching us, maybe Spotify, wherever you're listening to, massive thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.